I'll just wait till I see that stream, guys, because I don't want. I'm doing some stuff here on the board, and I need that to be showing. No está, no lo veo. All right. Can you let me know when you can see me live on my channel, because that's the indicator that we're going.
Yep, I see you.
Yeah, you can see me on there, on my channel, Mr. Astrothology. Yep. Well, how come I can't see me? Yo no me veo. Acá. ¿Qué pasa con el mío? Alright, I can't believe it. I need to see, necesito.
Cierra los ojos.
Ciérralo. Okay. Okay. Alright. Alright guys, very sorry about that. Okay, so last week in the introduction, we spoke about the Sam-Best method, and essentially we established that the atom is a torus field. Okay, so that's an atom. Okay, that's the apple in the Garden of Eden. The apples of Apollo, the apples of the gods. That's the egg, the golden egg that, Jack in the Beanstalk, golden egg. It's always this. There's only one form. This is the only form that exists. Now, we spoke about the hyperbola. It's redshift, blue shift. And we spoke about the torus field. This is what they call the torus, the U-torus, and the phallus. But we didn't really go into this. So this now is the next stage before we begin our full understanding of what an atom is. The plane of inertia, we're going to see that in a minute in some of Ken Wheeler's work. We're going to see through his ferrocell magnetic viewing film. We're going to see this field, this torus field, live with technology, scientifically, and we're going to see the only form that exists. Whether it's a hydrogen atom or a plutonium atom, they're all this. This is the point in counter space. Notice green is always neutral. This plane of inertia goes right from this end of the field all the way through the center. So it's a cross. This is the cross, guys. This is the holy cross. It's the plane of inertia with the hyperbola. Bol, remember, B-O-L, bol. That's where we get all the words like Baal, the false god Baal. This is Baal. This is the phallus of Baal, the phallus of Osiris, the masculine member. That's it. It's Baal. And of course, all the vowels are interchangeable, so that becomes bull. So you have the bull and the Taurus. And we already discussed that those words, we're going to find them everywhere. Bull and Tor, everywhere. From the Bible to the Torah. Okay, everything's about torus fields, and all words essentially come from this, the bowl, the hyperbola. The only thing that exists is hyperbolas. Everything else is beings. Behind here, the source here is being. This is existence. To exist, and that's why I must see what I'm doing on my channel. That's why we waited 5 minutes there, guys, because last week I had this microphone in front of all the words that I was writing, and I got so pissed off because the microphone was hiding all the words that I was writing, and no one in the audience told me. All right. Exist. Exist is exit. Okay? Everything that exits out of this counterspatial point exists. Okay? In the temporal world, 10. Time.
Santos,
Yeah?
we only see half of the screen of your blackboard.
Ah.
We only see the half. We only see the bottom top of the blackboard. We don't see the bottom part.
Okay. What's going on? No ve en todo mi pantalla. ¿Por qué? Here it's showing everything. Oh, you're looking at that.
Yes, that's the way.
Oh, you're the Zoom.
Nice.
You're the Zoom
Thanks.
guy. Oh, sorry. Okay, the Zoom guys. So I'm confused. All right, Zoom, and I was more concerned with what's happening. I've got to watch two. I've got to watch the Zoom camera, which is on my computer. Okay, and I've got to watch what's going on my channel. It's very, very important. Okay, we're all good now. Thanks, sister. So, let me go back perhaps to the Zoom. So as I said, everything that exists must exit from this point of counterspace, the source. This is what is not intelligible or understandable. What is behind this? Magnetism is the loss of inertia of the field. The field is all potential. And when that inertia, when it loses its stillness, redshift, blue shift immediately happens, which causes the vibration, which causes time. That's the hourglass. Time, that's chronos right there. You can see the hourglass. See time dripping in, because everything goes in here, left turning, blue shift, disappears into here, does a quick left-right on the plane of inertia, and then exits radiating. You've got radiation, and you've got gravitation. So this is an hourglass. So time is here. All this atum means all this time. Atum is 10 as well, time. And that gives you tempo. All musicians know about tempo. This is the temporal world. This is time, this is space, but this is the Holy Cross. Now, the plane of inertia is also the planet of Earth. Okay, let's get rid of the inertia, because the inertia means rest, and the Earth is at rest. That's why we call it terra firma. You see, people who believe we're living on a moving globe, of course they're deluded, but they tell you that they live on terra firma. Well, firma in Latin, firm doesn't necessarily mean firm as in solid. It can, it has that meaning as well, but its first meaning is still. So when people say, oh yeah, I live on terra firma, and then they say they live on a globe at the same time, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're deluded. And then they say they live on the planet Earth, which is terra firma. And they can't even see that the word plane is in that word. Yes, we live on a planet. We definitely live on a planet. Planet is the French word for plane. Just look at a good etymological dictionary online and put the word planet in, and it will tell you flat plane. That will be one of the meanings. Okay? So you live on a planet. Everyone says that. It's true. And you live on terra firma. Well, that means it's firm, which means it's stationary. It doesn't move. It's obvious it doesn't move. Only to the intelligent ones. You will find that the type of people that are hanging onto the globe, these people are probably going to perish with the other ones that are going along with the science. It's the science. They always quote science. Our science, they think, for instance, that all those CGI pictures, like Mark Passio, for instance, on every video of his, you'll see CGI cartoon pictures of the globe, because he thinks he lives on that spinning CGI ball. And yet there is not one real photograph of the Earth in existence. Not one. Every single image out there of the globe Earth is just that. It's an image. It's a CGI image. Okay? This is how all atoms are. The plane of inertia is the neutron. You see? Now, in the introduction, we didn't talk about the neutron. We spoke about the proton, right-turning, diverging, centrifugal, left-turning, converging, centripetal. Radiation, right-turning, red, Ra, radiation, red, right. It's all R. And the L, which is its other liquid, the two liquids of creation, that's the proton. Ra, the originator. See, prototype. Right? This is the first. This is the proton, the prototype, and then this L becomes gravitation, not gravity, the hocus pocus Newtonian Jesuit crock of shit. People talk about, oh, well, gravity answers everything, doesn't it? They don't understand gravity. It's a theory, like germ theory. So they believe in the science, stuff that doesn't exist but gets you killed. That's why a lot of people are dying now, in the millions, because they listen to the white coats to say, well, it's the science. They're very clever. See, it's legal to say it's the science. They will never say it's scientific, because the science makes it their science. It's a condition. The article "the" conditions the next word. For instance, if I say the air in this room is cool, I'm not talking about air as a universal phenomenon, a generalized universally air. The moment I say the air, that's a condition. That's different to air. The air is fresh today. The air smells. But air on its own, without the article, has no condition. So it's general. This is why they say it's the science. The globe is the science. You see, neutron. Neutron, apart from having Tom in there, please pay attention. This is the neutron, this is the proton, and this is the electron, L. The R and the L are the two most important creative letters in existence. This is, red is R. Red is all about the letter R, radiation. L is all about blue, blue. Bowl is blue, bowl. Even though you can see it's green there. It's still, bowl is blue, blue. Okay? Neutron means neutral. Neutral means natural. Is that correct, guys? Should that you be there? Natural. Yes, that's correct. Wait a minute. That's wrong, of course. Yeah, that's correct. Right, natural. Neutron. See, life, physical life, can only exist on the plane of inertia. All of the rest is supernatural phenomena. The stars going around here, you've got the moon goes around here, around the tree of life, the North Pole. This is the North Pole. This over here is the South Pole, which goes around. It's a disc. We're going to see Stan Tenen, a Hebrew scholar, talking about this model, the same model as I'm telling you. And he puts it in an apple. And he opens the apple and he shows you the disc dividing this disc here. And he says, that is the flat earth. Now, Stan Tenen died a few months ago, rest in peace. But I've been saying that he, Ken Wheeler, and Frank Chester are the three guys that you must have in your repertoire now. You must study at least 20 to 30 hours of each of those guys. I'm going to show you their videos in a minute. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to look at this model. They don't know. Frank Chester, Stan Tenen was the only one who knew that the Earth was flat. I don't think Frank Chester does, and yet he's a genius. And I don't know where Ken Wheeler really stands on it. I don't care, because what he teaches about magnetism is just so great. But if he ever reaches the next level, and he starts adding theology and science to this, like I'm doing, Ken Wheeler will be way more of a blessing to mankind than he already is. So what is natural? That's Na is salt. Salt. Salt is Sol, the sun. So you've got the moon, Mercury, Venus, the sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn going around. tree of life. This is all supernatural. These are 7 planes in which people do live on those planes. People do live in Mars. They're not people like us with physical, natural, temporal bodies. But there are people, the moon is populated with millions of people. So is Saturn, but it's not it's not where, like, the sun, the people that live in the sun, they're not like in that sun which is a projection. The sun is the projection which is in its own dome, its own field, and they live in that field, just like we live on a field, don't you? Countryman, he goes, the farmer goes out to the field every day. His cattle are in the field. The cities were built on fields. So the people who live on the moon, they live on the field of the moon. It's outstretched dimension. And it's on a different frequency that is not like this. It's not gross, where you have to eat and go to the bathroom and sleep and get tired, etc., etc. It's a whole different way of living. Now, how do I know this? People might think, well, where did you get this? People don't understand. You have to read a lot, and I've read all the sacred holy books, all of them. I've read them and read them and read them and read them and read everything, old and ancient and sacred, and they all teach this clearly and specifically. And this is, you see, maybe flesh eaters will, probably, they may ascend. Generally, flesh eaters in ages more perfect than the Iron Age, they don't ascend. They have to reincarnate. Bhagavad Gita says, if you eat flesh, you will reincarnate as an animal, you'll be murdered by humans and eaten to experience what you did to that animal. Now, I don't believe that that's exactly how it works now. But remember, Holy Scripture is set in stone and perfect. So, where do we stand then? We have to remember this is a different age. This age of falling down, the Iron Age, there are exceptions. There are, there's a contingency plan, which is basically what, Christ coming to earth and that story is all about. It's not literal, like I've always explained, but it's but it is explaining that we have been given a saviour, which is the higher mind, should we choose it. All right, so the Buddhists as well, they were very, very harsh about flesh eating. Buddhists said if you so much as kill an animal deliberately, you will go to hell. Now, I believe that's true, but not now. Okay, so don't. I've eaten plenty of animals up until 15 years ago, plenty. So, the thing is, as you get more and more conscious, see, if you want to ascend outside of Saturn's rings and go to the ultimate Vrindavan, the highest of heavens, then sure, you simply cannot be eaten flesh. So the real ascension, the highest ascension, is through plant-based diet. Please don't let anybody try to seduce you to think that you need some kind of animal protein. You don't. You don't. You need the sun, sunlight and grounding to stay healthy. Okay? This is all basically trickery, and it's easy to fall for, friends. It really is. It's something that happened within humanity, which caused them to want to have delicious little treats, you know. First it might have started off with shrimp and fish and, you know, with a bit of oil and a bit of salt and a whole bunch of other sauces and condiments and stuff. You can make rotting corpse actually taste good, you know. Although I've never been much of a red meat eater, but I used to love fish, you know, and you don't need much, just olive oil and salt, really, a few herbs. Tastes okay, right? I would say if you're a flesh eater, I would go pescatarian as quick as possible, get off red meats. I heard Alex Jones the other day, who's looking more and more porky every day. He was defending flesh eating because, of course, he's got Andrew Tate there who thinks he's God himself and how sexy he is, and you've got to eat meat, you know. And Alex Jones said it's been proven scientifically that vegetarian children are 70% less intelligent as flesh eaters. I don't know where he gets his information from, but remember all the geniuses of history like Leonardo da Vinci, Pythagoras, Tesla, Edison, Plato, Porphyry, and all the geniuses of history, they were vegetarian. Alex Jones. Perhaps you should be eating less pork because you're starting to look and sound porky. Nothing against Alex Jones, but I mean, you see how people with large platforms can deceive large volumes of people, guys. Please, please, guys, stay close to syncretism. Only syncretism has all the truth. Not me. I'm not saying only me. Syncretism. Syncretism teaches me. It's my teacher. It's my guru. Okay. I feel awkward here because I'm leaning down for the Zoom, but I look funny when I look at myself on the YouTube channel. Never mind, as long as the information's coming out nice and acceptable. So, plane of inertia is planet of Earth because it is neutral. And as the great Italian genius said, Pierluigi Igina, colleague of Marconi, Pierluigi Igina, he said, there's two energies that me and Marconi worked out that exist. Solar energy, which is the ether, and it is turning, and earth energy, which is stationary. Isn't it amazing that the latest great genius of Italy, Pierluigi Igina, who worked with Guglielmo Marconi, the inventor of the radio, for 10 years they were colleagues, they were best buddies. And he said that both of them discovered that the Earth is stationary with their experiments. They put an antenna in the air and an antenna in the ground, and then they put strobe lights on the currents that they received from both, And inside his laboratory, you can see him on video, Pierluigi Igina. And he's saying the Earth is stationary. La Terra è ferma, he says. La Terra è ferma. Ferma. Still. This great, great, great Italian genius sitting there telling the world, the Earth is stationary. Wake the F up. Basically, he was calling all scientists out there who were globies stupid. Each one of them. He called them all out and proved with his strobe lights in his laboratory that the Earth is indeed stationary. It's never moved since its beginning. And that's what the neutron is. The neutron is this plane of inertia which divides the two halves of the field, which are in time-space. This is a time-space form. And your body is the same. If you put your head here, you have your throat, blue chakra, you have your green heart chakra, and you have your red bottom chakra at the bottom of your torso, which is your Taurus. You have a torso. Well, that's just the same word as Taurus. Okay, you just switch those two letters around. Okay, and that's your Taurus. You also have an anatomy. Your body, when I look at you, I look at your anatomy. In other words, your arrangement of atoms. Because all these torus fields, you see, they talk about ionic bonding to make molecules, that atoms of similar kind come together. So carbon and hydrogen, and they combine, and then, you know, through DNA and RNA and ribosomes and chromosomes and codons and all of that stuff, they come together and they make ribbons, deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and here this is a form. You see Santos Bonacci, you know me as Santos Bonacci. This anatomy is my anatomy in the temporal world, and it's made of atoms, torus fields. And how does ionic bonding happen? Well, it's easy. See, it's frequency. If that atom over here is a gold atom, and there's another one over here, they come together. But if they bump into other elements that are similar to theirs in frequency, they just absorb, they just change by being overpowering the other element. They take an electron from them, a free or a spare electron, as they try and teach in quantum physics, which is ridiculous. There's no electron exchanges to change an element from one element to another. We're going to see how that happens. It's just that this field has a frequency. This might be a gold atom. This might be hydrogen. This might be helium, boron. It doesn't matter. It all has this shape. Everything has this shape. Everything. You see? Even the human body, which is physical, which runs along the hyperbola, right? Your hyperbola is in your heart. This is the point that the heart is the servant of the soul. The spirit is here on top of the head, connected to the pineal gland. So the soul is the sun, solar. But the soul is the whole, the holy whole, which this is. This is the holy whole. Because H, you put an H there and you have whole. These are holy things. This is what is holy. There's only one thing that is holy, and that's these wormholes. Because these are all wormholes. Everything you see has come out of a wormhole called a hyperbola. Right? This is a hyperboloid torus. So in the introduction, essentially we just learnt about the proton and the electron. We didn't learn about the neutron, which is nature. Only on the plane of inertia can life exist. Everywhere else, there is supernatural. The sun, everything, all the inhabitants of these 7 planes above, all of them. And by the way, these 7 planes above us, these are all like domes, if you want to call them, or firmaments. The real firmament is this one, the 8th sphere of Uranus, and then beyond that is the 9th sphere, which is Neptune, and then the primum mobile is the 10th sphere. So you have beyond our 7 visible planets, then there's the other 3, which make 10. Firmament, crystalline sea, primum mobile. Just have a look at the Ptolemaic original model of the Earth that was given to us and humanity up until 400 years ago. Then they stole that true teaching of the stationary Earth, and this model here, they stole that off us and turned this into a globe. And they started what's called the Copernican Revolution. Go to Wikipedia and punch in Copernican Revolution, and you will understand why we are living in hell right now. The reason we're living in hell is because of the globe teaching. That is the number one hellish, demonic falsehood which has perverted the minds of degenerate scientists, liars, and so-called truthers like Mark Passio, Cullen Smith, Michael Sala, Professor Dave, PSYOP or sci-fi or pseudo-Sci-Man Dan. All these degenerates who all they have is CGI images of the Earth and not one shred of science. Do you think Professor Dave has any science, or Sci-Fi Man Dan has any real science or any real photos? I challenge any one of them to produce 5 real photos of the Earth and 30 seconds of real footage of the globe. Not the stuff that they're telling from the International Space Station, not that CGI stuff. We're intelligent people, we can see that that's a cartoon. If you can't, well, you won't be as dumb as dog shit. That's great. That's up to you. But that globe Earth that Mark Passio has on all of his videos, showing that he's an upside down dunce, and that if he's got cartoons at the introduction of his videos, well, how much truth content do you think he's going to be giving you? He's going to be giving you lies, because he's a liar. He's a blasphemous liar. And so is Michael Sala and all of these guys. Time to call them out. Time to call them out and expose them. It's not time to be silent, guys. It's time to call these guys out. They're liars and deceivers. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to see this in real time. We're going to see it on my computer screen. Can I share screen, please? Yes? Here we go. All right, first of all, it will be my pleasure to introduce Stan Tenen. I need to share my audio, Brenda. So I've got to share my audio. You can see my screen? Great. All right. Can you guys hear? Something's wrong. ¿Te acuerdas lo que hizo él? Pero lo hizo en mi computadora. Alright guys, so, in the meantime, here's a very, very, very important video of mine. Plain Earth is scientific, globe Earth is not. It's only had, it's a shame, it's only had 55,000 views, which is, this is the best flat Earth video in history, and it's mine. Please watch it. It's only an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 13 minutes. Please watch this and share this with everyone you know. I did this in November of 2018. This is the most important flat Earth video because it proves beyond a doubt that we live on a globe. And it shows that. ¿Estoy listo? Okay. We're trying to work out how we can share my audio here. Very important that you hear these videos. So, dance of the Hebrew letters, stantenon. This is a must. You must see all parts, all 4 parts. It's 40 minutes. You must see this. Stantenon is a must. Then we have Ken Wheeler. And here we have the torus field. And then we have Frank Chester. Frank Chester is a must. Dance of the Hebrew letters, stantenon. This is a must. You must see all parts. This is starting to get annoying now. Okay. Forgot what the guy did last week to get me to share my audio, but I need to share my audio. So why is Frank Chester so important? Well, what he's holding in his hand, he's holding.
If you look at this, here is the way nature uses it. Okay, this is a marine animal. Okay,
He's holding what he calls the Chesterhedron. It's a 7-sided, 7-faced polyhedra. And 7 is the magic number. And it turns out that it's in the shape of a bell. Well, that's what the hyperbola is. It's a bell. It's the bull. The bull is the bell. That's why the bell is in every church. The bell is always in the... There it is. That's his shape. That's a 7-sided polyhedra. And he's proven that this is your heart. And if he turns that really, really fast, you will see a bell like... Let me show you on the board here. like a bell. And this polyhedra of Frank Chester is the 6th polyhedra. It's what morphs the tetrahedron into the hexahedron, into the octahedron, into the icosahedron, back to the dodecahedron, the Chesterhedron. That's why Frank Chester is so important. He has found what Plato did not, nor Aristotle, Socrates, Thales, Solon, all of these greats of history. Porphyry, neither of them. No one knew about this. This is Frank Chester, guys, a modern day guy, a modern day genius. Right? So, ¿estoy listo? Okay, guys, we're still trying to work out how to get the sound because you've got to hear this, otherwise, yeah, I'll just. ¿Cómo? No, es que voy parando y es muy fácil, es algo en Zoom.
Sí, ya sé cómo, pero no me reconoce.
No, se hace en mi computadora.
Lo sé.
No sabes, no me puedes.
No, es que no puedo agregar a OBS. Yo no puedo agregar a OBS.
All right.
I mean, this is 8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 8.
Can you guys hear this clearly?
No, pon el screen. Compartir la pantalla.
Screen share. Okay. Please tell me if you can hear this clearly.
This is 7. All right, so what I did, just like done here, or in the process that nature uses to get minimum surfaces.
Okay. I dipped this form, but a little bigger. I dipped it in soap. And this is what I got. I got a bubble, just like I got a cube here, or a tetrahedron. I got this shape, okay, in the middle of a 7-sided form. Now, that form I discovered 22 years ago, but I hadn't done this for a long time. All right, so to make sure that this is correct, and of course I have nothing to do with it, once it blows the bubble in there, it takes on that shape. But if I take the straw and I blow this bigger and bigger and bigger, it will go all the way out to the edge and become the same form but larger. So to really test that, I have to take this shape and put it in there to see what happens. And so here it is inside, this gold, this brass, here it is inside of this form. So this form inside there tells me whether this is correct or not, because this form, the same shape but smaller. So if I take this off, you can see that it fits in there perfectly. So this is right, correct. All right. So I think it's time to tell you basically where this guy comes from, because if it's giving the form of the left ventricle, which it is, okay, it's important to understand where it came from. So when we first started out, I showed you a tetrahedron. And the tetrahedron, okay, which is this one.
Remember, the tetrahedron is the first of the polyhedra, corresponds to fire.
I made, okay, with all faces, straight faces. And there's 4 triangles that make this up. Now, what I did was I took a cube and I put the tetrahedron into the cube. All right. So here's the cube, so you can see through and see the tetrahedron that I put in here. So if I put the tetrahedron in there, it fits in the cube because I made it the right size, so it would go in, not too big, not too small. And I put it in here, and then I noticed that all the squares, the tetrahedron is a perfect diagonal from corner to corner. Look at it, corner to corner, corner to corner, corner, everywhere. All right, and then I realized that from this corner to this corner is the axis of the tetrahedron in the cube is root 3. It's root 3. It sits in the cube at root 3. And root 3 in the cube is approximately between 35 and 36 degrees. That's at the angle that it fits in the cube. All right, so this is what I did to get this form. I took that same cube and the tetrahedron, and what did I do? I spun it. I spun it like that. And when I spun it, all the triangles got smaller and appeared a kite shape. A kite shape appeared. So what happened is that the triangles opened up. And right there, halfway down, okay, halfway from the center, from the edge, halfway down, I stopped it, and it made a perfect 7-sided equal surface form. So this form comes from a tetrahedron spun in a cube. All right. So now you know where this came from. See, these opened up. See how they opened up? When I spun it. Now,
So you see a tetrahedron, when it spins, everything is spinning in vortexes. It becomes this shape here. You can see how the tetrahedron has opened up and it makes mute. And you can see how it opens up and makes this this kite shape. You can see the kite here in his hands, right? Well, where his hands are, they are covering 2 of the triangles of the tetrahedron. The back one is there. You can see the back tetrahedron there, triangle. You can see where my point is. And his hands are covering the other 2. But in between there are 3 kites. And then the bottom makes 7 surfaces. This is the bell. And this, he proves, is in the heart. So your heart is your hyperbola, folks. It's the pulse, it's the beat of life, the drum beat of life in your soul, in your being.
when I spun it. Now, I continued to spin it, and when I did, I got this form. And this form is all the way as far as this can go. It can't spin anymore, because what happens at this point goes over to the center everywhere and makes this shape. And this shape, okay, this is halfway spinning, and this is all the way. Can't go any further. So,
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Now we're going to go to Stan Tenen.
Fruit, and the whole model is a model human hand. There would be 3 hands together, or 6 in some other configurations, that would make the whole fruit, and it depends on how it's arranged. I'll show you that.
So notice this shape that he has in his hand. This shape, this is just one cross-section of the torus field. This little thing in the middle, that's the hyperbola. And that outer part there you will see. When you watch this video, you will understand clearly the model that I'm teaching, the only model that exists, the only true model. There's no other models. What Stan Tenen is teaching and I are exactly the same thing. He also teaches that all the letters and all the numbers come from the torus field, all of them. And he shows how and where all the Hebrew letters are situated in the torus field.
This with inside and this with outside. This is the seed. This again is the fruit. And the whole model is a model human hand. There would be 3 hands together, or 6 in some other configurations, that would make the whole fruit, and it depends on how it's arranged. I'll show you that hand very directly. This is important. If you look at a model fruit, here is an apple. Now, if this were a real fruit, if you went down the stem, you would come into the middle where there'd be a star of seeds in the middle, and the flower end would be here, and there'd be a hole. We could draw a deeper notch down the middle to go into the seeds in the middle. Now, the reason we realized this was a hand is once we had drawn these lines, which represent the edges of a particular kind of knot, which we'll get into later in the tape if we have time, or on a supplementary tape, what you realize is that this can be very much like a kind of bowling ball, where if you could put your thumb down into the middle, you could grasp between each of these edges. And it would look, if I can display it for the camera, just like a hand. Remember, my thumb is going into the middle, and what I'm saying is that each of these regions, from here to here, would be a hand. And of course, there'd be 3 hands as I go around. I'll show it to you from here. There's three hand-shaped sections. And so there'd be 4 fingers in each one, the thumb in the middle. There'd be 12 fingers around the perimeter. And thus you have 12 tribes around the seed center, the star, the tabernacle, if you'd like. In other traditions, there are 12 apostles, there are 12 knights around the round table, there are 12 imams of Shia Islam, there are 12 houses to the zodiac. There are a whole number of 12 around 1 forms. And in the middle, of course, if we were to open it, this disc, I don't know if you can see that very well, but the disc is the flat earth. This is...
Did you guys hear that? Can anyone jump in from the Zoom?
Yep, heard it loud and clear.
Right, he said the disk dividing the two, the plane of inertia, which we're going to see in a minute in Ken Wheeler's videos, is the flat earth. Let's go back a little bit more, because this guy's no idiot. This guy's a genius. This guy's a genius. In fact, Dan Winter, who is a upside down spinning globe-tard, and if you want to, you can send this video to him if anyone knows him, to let him know that he is a disgrace to the human race. I heard someone calling him the most intelligent man alive. He's a dipshit if he thinks he's living on a globe. And his friend, he stole a lot of his material off Stan Tenen, Dan Winter did. Stan Tenen took him to court and won. He ripped, Dan Winter, the coward, ripped off all his information from this guy here, and he's still a dumb fucking globe-tard. Dan Winter. Dan Winter, if you're listening, you're looking at me, You're a fucking dunce and a liar. And you're teaching people the globe model, and you think we're flying at 870,000 Mach? There's no material or substance known to man that can do more than Mach 20 and not get pulverized. And in your model, you teach that we're flying at Mach 870,000. You're absolutely the stupidest man alive. Sorry to say, someone called him the smartest man alive. Nassim Harriman, another dunce. All these guys need to be exposed as the liars they are. Let's continue with this truther.
See this very well. But the disk is the flat Earth. This is where...
There you go, Dan Winter. You missed that, didn't you? The disk is the flat Earth, right? You're still teaching stupid upside-down globe stuff because you are upside down, man. You're actually sounding like you got dementia, actually. Have you heard Dan Winter lately? I think he's lost a few screws. Yeah. This guy was billions of times smarter than him.
The hand in there. You put the hand inside.
Billions.
This disk becomes the Earth. There's the sun. This is the heavens, the dome.
Talking about the dome of the heavens. What, is this guy stupid? This is a Hebrew scholar. This is a Hebrew scholar, guys. This is a man who is a genius. Where did he get the wisdom from? That the Earth is flat and there's a dome and there's a tree, the North Pole in the center.
And what we've got in our model, again, is a model hand. Now, why a model hand? Well, now we're going to get back to the discussion. The hand, the human hand, is a form that is automatically possible to be visualized by human beings. Even a child, even a blind person can see their own hand. If you close your eyes, you can try it right now with me on the camera. Just close your eyes and point towards something. Move your fingers any way you'd like. Move your hand any way you'd like. You can see where your hand is pointing. There, I'm saying how. Well, I know that my fingers are up and my thumb is pointing this way, well, etc. And when I open my eyes, I see it's correct. We each know our own hands. Now, since the letters are shadows of this model hand, as I tip my hand, I can immediately see the letters. And that's what we've found. Now, why should that be? Well, it makes sense because the hand is the means by which we project our conscious reality, our conscious wills, into the physical universe. We dispense our consciousness into physicality by means of the hand. The human hand is the human embodiment of a general projective principle. The Kabbalistic tradition teaches that the universe is created by the will of God, not the essence of God. We express our will in the physical world with our hands. Metaphorically, God expresses the creation of the universe, dispenses it into physicality as an unfurlment, as a projection of his will. And that's the model being presented. Now, I'll go into more of the details later, but I'd like to go through the letters. We've got to back up one more small step. And I'm not going to do this with the charts that I usually show. I'm going to try to do it all with my hands. If you remember the chart that we showed in the Matrix of Meaning for Sacred Alphabets, it was an Enneagram. 3 levels of Enneagram, 3 levels of 9. Well, if my thumbs go together in the middle, then I've got 9 points here. And we could go from Aleph to Beit to Gimel to Dalet to Hey to Vav to Zion to Het to Tet, using the Hebrew names. And we could continue that Yod, Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Tzadi, Kuf, Reish, Shin, Tav, final Kaf, final Mem, final Nun, final Fei, final Tzadi. And we get a logical matrix, if you remember that tape.
Times 9 is 27, guys. There are actually 27 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, not 22.
Where the Aleph, the Yud, and the Kuf, at 3 levels, the level of Keter of archetypes, the letter of Chachma, internal wisdom, and the later level of Bina, external understanding. Each 3 levels, Aleph, Yud, and Kuf. Aleph, Yud, and Kuf represent the seed, the beginning point. The Beit, the Kof, and the Resh, they represent breaking open. They represent the first distinction. The Gimel, the Lamed, and the Shin, they represent action. The Gimel Dalet represents division, dispersion.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. Why? Because you can watch that yourself. I have to move on. And he's already showing you where the letters are in the torus field and how they are produced in the torus field. There are only torus fields in existence. That's all that exists. It's the only form that exists. Okay? There is no other. There is nothing else. And here's how it works on a ferrocell. So here's Ken Wheeler. He's got a magnetic viewing film, and there's a magnet, and he's showing the energy that comes out of the magnet. You see white and black lines. We'll explain those in a minute.
Manual focus is ice lens, but let me rotate it around. Someone got some light leak down here. You get it further down here. Let me see if I can focus a little bit. There we go. Bring it into focus here. You see as I pan it around, you can see the it's a little like a little black hole, right? Using a 1-inch cube and neodymium iron boron N55 Gauss. I keep getting it out of focus. Sorry about that. Here we go. And let's bring it along the dielectric inertial plane.
There you go. Flip the magnet. Now he's gone and turn the magnet to its side, and this here is the plane of inertia. Notice how the hyperboloid now is 2 holes, because that's how it's expressed. That's how you see it stereographically. Okay, but this is a holographic projection here. He can see depth that we can't. So we're missing out. We don't see as much as what he can see. But that is the black holes that they're talking about. Dark matter. It's actually the ether. And the ether is lying right through that line there. That's the plane of inertia, guys.
Remember, this is just less than 1 micron thin. Get into focus. There we go. Less than 1 micron thin of ferrofluid. Here we see either quote-unquote pole on either side of the ferrocell. And here you can see the actual depth. You really can't see it unless you actually have it in your hand. You can kind of see it, but let's bring it into focus. See, even with the white light, RGB, you still have white light here, but we're not using RGB LEDs. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. But it doesn't matter that I'm not using the red, green, blue LEDs. I can still see, as you can see here, I've got red shift over here and blue shift over here.
Oh, did you hear that? Can you see the red shift here and the blue? Can you see the blue colors over here? Yeah? You see red shift, blue shift? He's showing you in real time, guys. Magnetism, when light divides, when white light begins to vibrate, you have red shift, blue shift. That's the fundamental basics of nature.
Told you. Bring it over here. I got blue shift and red shift. But naturally, even looking at the magnet like this, I can actually see that I have red shift over here and blue shift over here sitting in the center of the ferrocell. Therefore, let me get my glasses off and get back into focus. There we go. Red shift over here, blue shift over here, so I know this is the south pole of the magnet and this is the north pole. It's kind of much harder to see using the white light LEDs, especially with my glasses off.
Remember that. Blue shift is the north pole of a magnet. So at the north, you have blue light where the aurora borealis is happening. And in Antarctica, you've got redshift, which is cold. Okay? It's warm in the North Pole, guys. It's cold in Antarctica. You've got life, you've got all kinds of life at the 80th parallel in the Northern Hemisphere, but in the Southern Hemisphere, you cannot find any life at all beyond the 60th parallel. How can we be on a globe, if that is a fact? That is a fact that you can go to the 80th parallel in the Northern Hemisphere and you will find animals everywhere thriving. But you cannot go past the 60th. Captain Cook said that beyond the 60th degree parallel, he said, you won't find enough wood to make a toothpick. That's what he wrote in his catalogue. He said, you will not find, whereas in the Northern Hemisphere, beyond the 60th, all the way to the 80th parallel, there is wood, trees, it's lush. So there's the globe, that's dead, the globe is gone, dead just on that fact alone. Blue shift is North Pole. It's warmer. Blue light is hotter than red light. Right? If you've got red flame coming out of your gas stove, it's going to take a lot longer to cook. You need blue. You need a blue gas flame because it is way more powerful than red light. Okay?
And using the white light LEDs. This is exactly what my discovery proved to be. Let me get things back into focus here. Let me focus the Zeiss lens.
There's a torus field, there's a
we go.
hyperbola. Now, the white light is divergent magnetism. The black lines are converging dielectricity. And that's it. That's how simple nature is, guys. There's no such thing as neutrinos and particles. There's no particles there. There's no electrons. There's no protons there. There's not even neutrons. They don't exist. The neutron is the plane of inertia. The proton is, in this figure here, the white light, and the electron is the black light. That's it. But even that's not correct, because we cannot really clearly see the vibration here. You cannot see red or blue light, either color. You cannot see it in this, in here. You're not looking at vibrations.
There's the hypertrochoid. What is happening is that each individual ray of light that's being shot out of these white light LEDs is being slingshotted in a curvilinear fashion around the reciprocating divergent centrifugal magnetic field and entering in at the convergent centripetal field. That's why the center of this looks black. Just like a black hole, quote unquote, for the sake of analogy and your comprehension, the light right at the center here of the magnet, the z-axis radial dielectric, which makes up the coaxial circuit of light, is being sucked in right in the center of the magnet. That's why it is black right at the center, but white along the centrifugal edge. My formula is correct. I found out about this ferrocell invention after the second edition of my book, and the formula that I published for how and the way that magnetism must exist. And so I'm the first earthling, anyway, to ever discover what props up 100% of the visible universe. I've got the formula for it, and the complete logical elaboration, denotation of what it is: reciprocating processional hyperboloid that can only extrapolate itself out in field pressure mediation. It's a hypertrochoidal pattern. And this is exactly...
And This is what is a hypertrichoidal pattern that he's talking about. That's called the hypertrichoid, what you're looking at. It comes from the hyperbola. So here you can see in science, you can see this in real terms, you know. This is science. He put this out in 2015, guys. Just go to Theoria Apophasis, and then go into, when you do that, go into the, show you how to do, what did I do? Which one did I take out? All right, let's start again. So if you go to Theoria, Theory Apophasis, go into here and put in torus field, and ferrocell. Put in words like that, and you'll get all of these hundreds and hundreds of videos showing. Oh, I remember this one, 2 magnets. That was interesting. And you'll see hundreds. Please study Ken Wheeler. So let's see if he's got anything else interesting here.
It is also reciprocating as field pressure mediation necessitatively dictates through the center to the other side, centrifugally divergent and centripetally convergent. And what it does is it creates it would close down. It would able to collapse itself if possible. That's why if you take any magnet, you break it into little pieces, it will eventually form a ball. Made by Tesla.
Let's get rid of that. Let's go to this one.
There we go. Now let's zoom in a little bit here. Of course, the way the contrast, you can actually see rings along the, looks like an owl's face, doesn't it? This is the secret of Mother Nature here. This is the actual constructed destructive interference. Here's one pole, here's another pole. But a magnet doesn't actually have poles. What it has is the inverse of counter space, which is specifically force and motion. See, centrifugal divergent magnetic field, which of course is not literally being emitted from the magnet. It's literally the ether itself under polarized deformation from the field of the point source singularity that is what defines the magnet. Because the magnet is not defined by what is quantitative, rather by what is qualitative. And I've explained this 1,000 times, and also to, including my book. Let's show you one pole of the magnet here. Let's zoom in. Sorry about that shaky video, but if you when you amp up one thing, you also amp up another. So you can't actually make a more powerful magnet without creating more powerful dielectric section. You can actually see the holographic nature of the cell. I can't leave it sitting there for that long because that I'll just have to rebuild the cell. That's no problem. Let's save the best for last. Lowest pressure medium. Depth. You actually have this trough, you know, sloping towards this null point where the entire, and of course the magnetic field of the ring magnet is the exact same geometry, even though larger and more.
Here he is using a ring magnet, and you got 2 torus fields, one on the inside of the ring magnet and one on the outside.
Let's destroy the supercell so quickly. I lift off of there, you see the burn marks. There we go. Well, what you're looking at is the face of Mother Nature here. Magnetism is everything, the volume inside the balloon, the air inside the balloon of everything in the universe that has magnitude and mass. Things only have magnitude due to magnetism. And what the hell defines a black hole is where dielectricity, just like this super powerful magnet, except a really poor analogy, is where dielectricity overthrows magnetism's ability to keep something within the visible universe. if I were to, which I can't, pump up the dielectric power of this little tiny magnet like a billion-fold, it would literally vanish from the universe. It would not be there anymore. I would actually still have the same field. Well, it'd be a lot different than this. It would actually all look black with maybe some light fringes around the edge. But when I lifted the supercell off, of course the supercell would get sucked into it, right? Because it would be a black hole. It would not be there. Because the only thing that actually keeps this physical magnet in the visible universe is magnetism only. That's the only thing that keeps it in the universe. Things only have magnitude due to magnetism. And everything is a fight between the conjugate geometries of force and motion, inertia and acceleration. Everything is centrifugal divergence and centripetal convergence, respectively.
So there you heard him say everything is a war between rest and motion. But he calls it force and motion and inertia and acceleration. The black lines you see is inertia and acceleration. It is accelerating into the black hole. The white light is forcing out of that black hole. It's motion outward. Okay? It's force and motion against inertia and acceleration. And that's all that's happening in the universe. That's all that exists. That's the only function of the universe, to do that. Rest and motion, to keep it simple. That's all that's going on, guys. I can show you how that is Krishna, you know. Look at this. The famous Eye of God nebula, nebula. Why do they call these bull? See the word bull there? Bulla? Bala? We learnt about Bala, didn't we? Remember? Bulla, the bull? Because this is all there is. The eye of God, the bull's eye. Your eyeball, ball. There it is. There's the earth. That's the plain disk of the earth inside the apple. Oh, look at this. And the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind. What whirlwind? Well, probably the one that Lord Kelvin spoke about. Lord Kelvin, I mean. Vortex atoms. Well. Take a screenshot of this, guys. I'll put it in the middle. Please read this. This is very, very interesting. Here he is looking into a gaseous liquid, and he is looking at vortex atoms. Didn't I just say that atoms are torus fields? Torus fields are vortices. Vortices are everything. And VOR is the same as BOL. V and B are interchangeable. R and L are the universal liquid interchangeables. Wherever you see an R, always replace it with an L. I've said this thousands and thousands of times, and you will unlock the secret of the universe just by exchanging the L with an R. Every time you see an R, put an L there, and vice versa. Okay, vortex atoms. Thank you, Lord Kelvin. And that vortex is coming from the ether. So when you get these dumb bums like Craig from FTFE channel, who are basically just reincarnated animals having their first human experience, they're stupid as can be. He said 2 or 3 times when we had that debate, you'll remember that debacle debate that we had about a year ago. He said, oh, the ether doesn't exist. The ether doesn't exist. Well, it did for Tesla, because he was a genius and he only spoke about the ether. It did for Edison, Steinmetz, Faraday, Maxwell, Schallberger. What was the orgone that who was the inventor of the organ? What was that guy's name? Can someone help me? Jump in, please, if you can help me.
Wilhelm Reich.
Wilhelm Reich. What about he spoke about the organ. It's the ether. See, and then you get these dumb bums that say the ether doesn't exist. Well, that's because Einstein did that damage. The Jesuit Einstein, he did that damage to humanity by removing the ether. Have a look at this, guys. Know thyself. Can you see the first word here? Temet? Can you see the word atum here twice? This is you. Temet noske. Know. Mute? Oh. Sorry. Temet noske. Know thyself. This is who you are. Tem. All is a tem. All right, let's go back to... We did Frank Chester. Good. So please remember, there's, again, Chester Hedron Foundation. Subscribe. Oh, that's not Frank's channel. But anyway, I've just subscribed. He's got more subscribers there. But check out, he's got hundreds of videos. Please at least watch 6 or 7. Please, please, guys. Watch as much as you can of Stan Tenen and as much as you can on the torus field of Ken Wheeler. Those are the only most important guys. Forget about Dan Winter and Nassim Harriman and these morons. These guys, they will waste so much of your time you'll never get anywhere. They are paid shills. These guys, unlike Ken Wheeler, who's sincere, and Stan Tenen, they probably kill Stan Tenen, I don't know. Frank Chester, they've given him cancer. I think he had cancer. He was dying he survived it. But he knows that they're after him as well. And I think they're trying to kill Frank Chester. But anyway, as I said to you before, guys, this video here is the most important flat earth video you will ever see on my channel, please. This is mine. Plain earth is scientific, globe earth is not. This proves it beyond a doubt.
And here we go. What's done now is put...
So what we're going to do now is we're going to see redshift, blue shift. Redshift, blue shift. And we're going to see the plane of inertia. Here he's got some plastic dividing the two positively and negatively charged iron dome-shaped bells. Because that's what he did first was he let's go back. He found out in the laboratory how to make these torus fields with plasma. Where are we going? And there's the genius I told you about, Pierluigi Ugina, who said, the Italian genius who died in 2004, who said that the Earth is stationary. Here he is being filmed, and you'll see. I guess if you go to my channel, I wonder if you can get it by just putting his name in there, Pierluigi. Yes, Pierluigi Ugina. Yep, and yet, watch this video here, 34 minutes. The Earth is stationary. Pierluigi Ugina, Santos Bonacci. Watch this, 34 minutes, please. And then here's my video, which I'm showing you now. Okay. So, what was I looking for? I'm looking for his laboratory. There you go.
each other to manipulate the field. Here he is again.
But they also formed a disk of plasma around the nucleus, as well as ejection jets along the axis.
And here is where he gets his inspiration for...
Okay, so we just saw how he did it with plasma in the laboratory. Now he's going to do it a different way. Let's have a look at this. Saturn,
come to the crux
again,
of the
there's
matter.
the plane of inertia.
1703. Let's have a look at what we got there. Look at the jets here of these galaxies. Okay?
Wow.
Very telling. There they are in the laboratory. And we're going to see how these jets work in a minute.
Beautiful.
Cause both magnetized and non-magnetized.
And here we go. What he's done now is he's put this glass in between the two bowls. What he's got is the positive on top, negative below, and he's got these ball bearings, these steel balls here. And you'll notice concentric rings around the center, okay?
Balls to form the amazing arrays shown here. The only thing holding these balls in position are the magnetic fields emanating from these two poles. Could this truly be the way that atomic and
Their structures are properly explained? I believe so. Let's take a look at the forces at work in the nucleus area of these bowl-shaped magnetic fields. Shown here are ordinary non-magnetized 5mm steel balls. These bowl-shaped magnetic fields induce a magnetic field into each steel ball, which causes them to repel each other while at the same time keeping the balls structured together. So this mysterious...
You see that there, guys? 6 around and 1 in the middle. If you get 7 coins of the same size, you'll find that the center one will be surrounded by 6 and they will all touch. This can only happen with 1 in the center and 6 in the first ring, and then the next ring will be 12. And we'll get to that in a minute. This is the seed of life. This shape here is called the seed of life. You can see this is all forming on the plane of inertia. This is where we are. These are like, let's consider this to be like human beings.
But it also keeps them apart. Then it does this while at the same time forming a geometrically balanced pattern, just as we find within atoms and molecules. Notice the vibration in all of the steel balls as each new ball is added to the nucleus area. What we see at work here is what I believe would truly be defined as the strong force.
So what you can see here is the flower of life.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, that's not the flower of life. We need one more. Let's keep going.
In the center is the central ball, surrounded by 6. This makes the round table of 7. Surrounding 6 is always 12. And 7 plus 12 make 19, which reduces to 1. This is the 1. This is the pattern of all forms, like this. So the flower of life, the seed of life, the tree of life, all of the fruit of life, these are all these electromagnetic energies, shapes.
That's it. Okay, there it is. So you see 1 in the center, surrounded by 6, surrounded by 12. That makes 19, 9 and 1 make 10, 10 reduces down to 1. This is the one form. This is how the earth was formed. In between, like Pierluigi Gina said, he said there are 2 energies, the suns and the earths. And when they come together against each other, that's where natural life occurs. Natural life, natural forms can only exist on this plane of inertia. That's how that we know that the plane of inertia is the planet of Earth up, guys. Let's continue on.
As
This is the one. Okay.
the strong force. Then we will take a look at some incredible cutting-edge research from scientists at IBM. This is an atomic force microscope image of the actual structure within a nanographene molecule. Now we see the image of the nanographene molecule superimposed on top of the array of steel balls that were formed in the nucleus area of the bowl-shaped magnetic fields. The steel balls are supported by a sheet of clear acrylic, which does not come in contact with the magnetic poles at all. Therefore, it is only the magnetic fields of the red and blue balls which are responsible for the shape of the patterns we observe here. Here we see 3mm steel balls in the nucleus area of the magnetic fields. Notice how they can trade positions with the other balls in the array, but the basic geometric pattern is always maintained. Now let's take a look at how these non-magnetized steel balls form orbital patterns around these bowl-shaped magnetic field emitters. Again, notice how even in the orbital area, these magnetic fields cause the steel balls to be packed tightly together, and yet at the same time they repel each other.
See those rings, guys?
Now this is interesting because this leads me to the question of lands within concentrically going outward from a centre. So this would be, say, land mass, this would be water, and this would be more land mass. Or this could be even ice, like the ring of Antarctica, if Antarctica were a ring which surrounds the Earth. I'm not too sure or pedantic about that. We just need to have a look at this, and this might bring some inspiration, but it could be a barrier of some kind. Concentric land masses around a kind of mandala. As you will see, the Earth is a mandala, as it's described in Bhagavad Gita. Bhumandala. Bhumandala. Bhu is the world, and mandala is, well, it's a mandala. So Jambudvip, so this island is islands within islands in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all of these old books.
Even 25mm non-magnetized steel balls follow these same rules. I believe it is time to reevaluate our theories of atomic structure and the forces that work therein. As you can see, a wide range of steel balls were placed around these magnetic fields with the same basic results. Notice how the steel balls all repel each other. Here we see how the large and small balls interact with each other magnetically. Notice how the small blue ball is forced to flip over and then floats within the large red ball. The small red ball responds quite differently, as you can clearly see. Then we find the same rules in effect within the large blue ball. Now you see how the orbital distance of the small hole set is determined by the spacing between the large red and blue balls.
Wow.
So you can see the plane of inertia there. It's right in between red and blue.
How the orbital distance of the small hole set is determined by the spacing between the large red and blue holes.
Wow.
So you can see the plane of inertia there. It's right in between the eye of the storm of the vortex. That everything is vortexual, all energy. See the work of Walter Russell, and he always spoke about the red and the blue, red shift, blue shift.
Oh, by the way, I forgot about that too. Yeah, the fourth individual I would add to Ken Wheeler, Frank Chester, and Stan Tenen is Walter Russell. Yeah. So yeah, and there's quite a lot of videos as well, other than books. If you don't like reading, these days, it's easier to get house chores done while the video's playing in the background, and you can still learn. So there's many ways of learning.
So he's so
let's go forward.
The work.
Now,
Southern crowd.
see what happens here when he puts these very, very, very small balls in there. Look at the torus field. You see the white lines and the black lines that Ken Wheeler was showing?
Lines of force. It's all torus field. So this is ferrofluid. The balls are suspended in the fluid. We know the Earth's core is of iron. That's ferro. Ferro is iron. And so the solid, firm parts of the Earth floating on the waters would be a good way to visualize this.
You see ferrofluid at work, showing the magnetic patterns formed within these bowl-shaped magnetic field emitters. Then, for the very first time, it's now possible to actually repel non-magnetized field balls with a static magnetic field. The magnetic field emitted from these bolts induces the magnetic field into the steel ball and then repels it along the axis of these magnetic field emitters. This knowledge is the key to understanding how these magnetic fields confine the nucleus of all matter, from electrons to galaxies.
Electrons, atoms, to galaxies.
This has been disconnected from the lower part of the vacuum chamber into a bar-shaped magnet along the axis of the matter being measured. There are in reality...
So basically this is the model I've always used, and probably inspired by watching Primmerfield's the first time around about 2011. See, when these were published, 2013, yeah. I remember watching this years ago. And so when Flat Earth came along, this is it. I realised that this is the Ptolemaic astrological model and biblical model. It's every model. The Hindu, it's every model is this. This is an apple. The apples of Apollo, the golden apples, the cosmic egg model. This fits in with the Jewish Kabbalistic 10 concentric ring model. This is to be first.
According to Anaximedes, Earth was formed from air by a felting process. It began as a flat disk from evaporations from the Earth. Fiery bodies arose, which came to be heavenly bodies. The Earth floats on a cushion of air. See, this is what they don't understand. These torus fields, they're floating on cushions of air, or in other words, they're gravity doesn't exist, but you know what I mean. They're floating. Anaximedes said that, but Anaxagoras, his teacher, he said it was not air, it was water. So they both argued, and all the Greeks have been arguing, is it water or is it air? What is the Earth? What is causing these torus fields and this massive Earth, which is a torus field, what is it causing it to just stand still in whatever substance it is, whether it's water or air? The Greeks argued, every Greek philosopher had a different, there were the air ones, there were the water ones, and they argued and fought against whether it was these were floating on air or water, but no one knows still to these days. So I put this in here, all this extra writing. Please read it. Please read this and watch this. Please do yourself a favour, man. This is the greatest flat earth video you will ever watch. Ever. Okay? And this explains as well, it explains how you get supposedly two poles. It's funny because if we were on a globe, we would never ever have two different turning star trails. One in the north around Polaris and one in the south around Sigma Octantis. Think about it. This is how stupid they shoot themselves straight in the foot, and they don't think. Globies do not think. If we lived on a globe, there wouldn't be such a thing as two different turning in the opposite direction star fields. Everything would be going in one way, no matter where you are on the earth. No matter where you are on the earth, all the stars, you're on a ball spinning, rotating, all the stars, there wouldn't be a split at the equator, and then the stars diverge and go the other way in the opposite direction. Think about it. They don't think. They don't think. All right. So what we're looking at, guys, is this energy here. You see, this is how atoms come together and make molecules. This is DNA. This is really what DNA is. Okay? It's all this. Vortices, the vortex atom. Cymatics proves it. Look here in Ecuador, you go to Ecuador, they've got the chacana, the 8-spoked wheel. This is always the 8 and the 12. And this is cymatics. This is sound, vibration. This is the vibratory world. Look at that. Chromosomes, DNA. Why do they call this a thorax? You see the word Taurus in the thorax? And how many bones along one side? 12. And the other one? 12. See the thoracic spine has got 12. See, Arthur, King Arthur, how many knights did he have? 12 knights. So this is Arthur here. Below here is the lumbar. Do you know what lumbar means? You know the lumberjack man? Right? Tree cutter. Lumbar means tree. This is the tree. This is the tree of life, the lumbar. Then you have the thoracic. Then you have the Sir. Sir is the heavens. And there are 7 here. 7 and 12. Funny, isn't it? 7 visible planets, 12 astrological signs. And this looks like a torus field, doesn't it? The thorax. With 12 ribs. You can't make this up, guys. Everywhere you go, there is only this form. There is only the atom. All is atom. All is atom. See all these words that come from the dome, Dominus, the Lord, the dome. See Mary, she's always red and blue. Jesus is always red shift, blue shift. They're always red and blue, red and blue. The hair is red and blue. All the gods are red and blue. Taurus, torso, Torah, tornado, torch, taut, torque, torpedo, torrent, torrid, torture, torment, torpid, torsion, torneo, which means tour in Spanish, turret, turn, truth, turmoil, turbulence, turbine, tour. There you go. Torneo means tour. We have it here, tour. Right? Because these things are touring. They're touring the universe. Right? Thor, Tor, terra, terra firma, terrible, terrific, terror, tyranny. Okay, that's all there is. There is no dynamo. Look at that. Din. All these are din, dynamos. You see? It's right there, din. It's right there hiding in your face. All energy is this, guys. DNA, Dan, Adam, Adan, donuts. Look, there it is twice. Nut is tun backwards, and don is Adon. So it's the donut. Everything is donuts, right? That's why Homer Simpson wants his donuts. There's the bell. There's Baal. See? This is Moloch or Baal. Yeah? Moloch is molecules. That's all it is. We're made of molecules. And the molecules come from this bell-shaped bull. So you notice it's a bull, but it's a bell. Because Frank Chester discovered that bell, the 7-shaped bell. So you have transverse waves and you have longitudinal waves. There's only 2 kinds of waves. Okay, they've got the Rayleigh wave and all these other ones that they've, bullshit waves that they've made up, but forget about it. There's only 2 kinds of waves. Transverse is electrical, right? Longitudinal is magnetic. Simple. Magnetism is a standing wave. It doesn't vibrate. It radiates. There are only 2 energies in the universe, guys, essentially. Radiation and its other half, gravitation. But let's just keep it simple. Radiation and vibration. What causes creation is radiation first, then radiation makes a vibration, which is the electrical redshift, blue shift world. The rodent coil. Why are coils in this shape? Why, guys? Donut. Look at the word motion. Mot and ton, twice. Action, ton word. It's all about motion, guys. Here it is. There's the field. All right, let's have a look at this other one. You see here what you can see, this would be, this is the North Pole. That's why you can't go anywhere near the North Pole, because it's it's like the Bermuda Triangle. You know, you'll crash into something and you'll just slip out of this dimension and you'll disappear forever. But this is what it looks like. You know, this is a torus field. Only they call this a galaxy. I don't believe this is real. I believe this is CGI, but, you know, I mean, nonetheless, they're showing some truth. And the truth is that there's the plane of inertia, and that's where all the physical life is, living on that plane. There's one we've already seen, right? A nebula. Interesting how they've got bull in that word nebula. This is what they see everywhere they look. Why am I? Here you go, golden eggs. Look at the earth, flat disc in the middle. And then they've got the tree of life in the middle. And then there's the primum mobile at the top. Right, the firmament at the top. And here is Mount Meru, and then here's all the life. It's always been like this, it always will be, guys. There is only one form. There's the tree, the torre, the arbol in Spanish, bol. Here it is as an apple, Stan Tennant's apple. Look at this, the Milky Way, plane of inertia, galactic plane. Here's a globe way of representing it. It's funny, they're showing it to you. They know there's a field around the Earth, they call it the Van Allen belt. They know it goes in the North Pole and comes out the South Pole, but they won't teach you the true model. They just can't afford to, because then the globalists will be defeated. They need their false model. Red shift, blue shift, Jesus, there you go, guys. And it's all the Son of God. Everything is the Son of God. You are the Son of God. Atoms are sons of God. It's all stars. You are now learning star language, folks. Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're always there. Red shift, blue shift, and there's the hyperbola, the clock in the middle. There it is, force and motion, inertia and acceleration. Dielectricity, magnetism. This is from Ken Wheeler's book, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there it is, Ken Wheeler, it says there. Copyright, Ken Wheeler. It's actually a free book, so he doesn't really copyright that, but I don't know why I brought you here. I was going to show you something interesting, wasn't I? But I just forget what it was now. Oh, well, yeah, well, see, the 12 signs, the 12 that Stan Tenen was talking about, that's where it starts. Aries always starts at the center of the hyperbola. And then the Taurus sign is the second sign, of course. Then you go up to the Tropic of Cancer, and below is the Tropic of Capricorn. Libra is always in the middle, balancing, the seventh sign. It balances the red shift from the blue shift, the day from the night, the summer from the winter. See, this is the pulses of radiation, and these are the waves of electricity vibrating. It's not a particle wave universe, guys. It's a pulse wave universe. Okay, sit in your bathtub and let a drop of water drop. Keep it still. Don't be moving. Sit in there if you want, or you can even just fill your bathtub up, right? And open the tap, the faucet, just a little bit, and let a drop come out like every 1 second. Doop, doop, doop. Then turn it up a little bit, doop, 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 and watch the frequency. Watch the difference when the little waves spread out. When the drops are slow, you'll see waves slowly spreading out. And then when you speed up the drops, and then you'll understand when you do that with your bathtub and a tap, it's easy, just have, all you need is a bathtub and a tap, and adjust the frequency, the opening of the tap, and you will see how everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything. And it all comes from counter space. The Bible agrees, Hebrews 11:3. By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, or should I read this version? Created by the Word of God. Can you see D-O-R in there? Door? Portal. We are now learning the language of stars. We are now going to learn everything from now on through words. Everything is going to be words. We're going to be deciphering words, and through words we're going to learn everything. Created by the Word of God, so that what is seen was made out of things, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. So in other words, things that we see are not made from visible things. They're made from invisible things, guys. And that is counter space. Everything comes from counter space, guys. Everything. So, just one more thing. Where's the Krishna stuff? That was really good. Yeah, remember Ken Wheeler said, this is from Ken Wheeler, remember he said it looks like an owl? Well, it does, because that's what it is, man. Right down the center of the owl, that right down here, that's the plane of inertia, and that goes straight through your body. Your eyes the hyperbola going in the opposite direction. They're all crisscrossing you in your body. Your body's made up of trillions of these planes of inertia and hyperbolas. It's not just one. There's one main one, which is your heart, and then there's one from your brain, your kidneys, your liver, and every little atom that's in your anatomy. See, this is Krishna, Jagannath. What's he doing looking just like magnetism? Here you have in New Zealand, look at this, that's their god. Does that not resemble Jagannath, Krishna? And in Aboriginal, in Australia, Jagga means king. So this is the king. The king is dielectricity. Notice he's black, because Krishna is always black. Radharani is always white, because she represents radiation. Magnetism is radiation. Don't talk about the attractive force of magnetism, because it doesn't exist. Magnetism only repels. Dielectricity attracts. Okay? All right, I'm at the end, guys. No, not even any time for question and answers. So, but, there's so many good. Look at all the stars that we are here. Fraudsters, imposters, mobsters, jesters. Everyone's a star. All right, that's the end of Volume 1. Next week, well, not even. If I feel good tomorrow, because I've actually been able to thwart the demons. Let me stop sharing now. So I didn't wake up last night at 2 o'clock getting zapped with itchiness and being tortured. So that's why I'm here today doing this presentation, guys. So expect that I could be doing a presentation tomorrow if I feel good, because that's how I'm going to do it, because I lost so much time with all the cancellations due to not bad health. It's funny, I can't even speak honestly to people about my situation, that I'm being a targeted individual, and that what I'm suffering is not natural per se. I'm perfectly healthy. I've never had a disease in my life. I'm the fittest guy ever. All right, so all these people that are sending me advice about maybe you should eat a bit of fish and have some bone broth and that, please don't let me block you, because I'll block you. Because if you do that to me, it means you don't know me. Okay? You will know that I, Santos Bonacci, will never ever murder an animal or put one little particle of rotting corpse in my holy temple. Never. So don't ever suggest it, because I will block you. You are not my friend. You serve the demons, and you have no part of syncretism. Don't ever look for me ever again. Don't ever watch my videos if you're going to suggest that I be a murderer like you, whoever you are, who eats animal bum. I'm not a bum eater. You are what you eat. When you have pork, you're a bum eater. Okay? So all you death cult people who are murdering animals, and how do I know you're murdering animals? Well, if you're eating an animal, it's dead and it was killed. So you're killing. You're a killer. And don't say, oh no, you can kill cows. Well, then why don't you kill your dog and have dog barbecue and invite your friends and slice? Why? Why don't you have a cat barbecue? I'll tell you why. Because if your neighbour sees you over the fence killing your cat, you're going to call the police and you're going to go to jail because you've committed a crime. It's called murder. You've killed an animal. But nonsensically, you make this law that you cannot kill a dog, because you go to jail because that's crime. You can't eat dogs, but you can eat little piggies and chickens and cows. Who the fuck told you, motherfucker, murderer, that you can decide that you can kill a cow or a pig, but you can't kill a dog or a cat. Can you see how stupid you are? So Alex Jones saying that vegetarians are dumber. How long will it take Alex Jones to work out syncretism? A vegetarian did this. Me, Santos Bonacci. Because I learnt it from Pythagoras, a vegetarian. Walter Russell, a vegetarian. Tesla, a vegetarian. Plato, a vegetarian. Porphyry, a vegetarian. He wrote a whole treatise 2,000 years ago about how evil it is to murder animals, our brothers and sisters, and eat their rotting corpses. Okay? So if you're a flesh eater, you're a murderer. And don't say you're not, because I just told you, I proved to you that you are irrationally making decisions, that you can kill a little calf, an innocent little calf, and have some nice, tender calf with a glass of wine, but try killing a dog. Why is one a crime and one not a crime? Who made these rules up? And who are you to decide which animal should die for your gluttony and which cannot because it's a crime? Are you a judge that you can destroy something that you cannot recreate? Be careful, guys, because if it's time for you to become vegetarian, you better do it real quick. Because if you want the true ascension and you want to go right to the top, you won't get there eating flesh, I promise you that. You'll remember my name should you end up in hell. You'll remember me warning you for years and years and years. The true ascension diet is vegetarian. And I'll leave it at that. See you on the next one. Volume 2. Much love.